Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Waiver Wire Queen, and today we have a very special guest. Abutta's in the building. What's going on, Abutta?
Not much. What's going on?
Nothing much. Ready to start the fantasy football season? Well, today we have a very special episode. Abutta is going to drop several gems for you guys to help you prepare for your upcoming fantasy football draft. He's going to do a redraft, one quarterback, PPR mock draft to help you guys prepare for your draft and give you some gems along the lines of some sleepers and players he feels will be the best players to help you compete at the highest level in fantasy football this season. Let's get into it. All right, y'all. Abutta is going to be picking 8th. So, he's not going to be able to get the top guy, but he may have a player in mind with the 8th pick that's going to be the building block for his upcoming season. You ready to do this, Abutta?
Let's do it.
So you have a lot of options on the board with the 8th pick. Who are you going with?
Given what's left right now, I would go with Davante Adams.
Okay, and so why are you picking Davante Adams pick 8?
Well, of course, I mean he's a number one. So my strategy with fantasy football always, especially at the wide receiver position, always try to get the number one. If you can get the number one wide receiver for any team, you're increasing your chances of making sure that you keep your points high. That's the first and foremost. So where we are right now, I would go with Deebo Samuel.
So we're going to go with Deebo. All right. So how long have you been playing fantasy football?
I think I've been playing, I don't know, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 years maybe.
That's a long time. And what made you decide to get into fantasy football? No other than, I'm sure, Waiver Wire Queen, but what made you get into fantasy football?
I was playing fantasy football before Waiver Wire Queen, before I even started doing things with Waiver Wire Queen. So that definitely didn't play a role in it. You know what? I don't know. I think it started out as like way back, way back in the Yahoo fantasy days where it wasn't even this sophisticated. I think it was just like this real simple system that they had. And it was just very interesting. Plus, with most fantasy football players that are men, we all play Madden, and this is like an extension of Madden, but you get to be a little bit more hands-on. Whereas with a video game, you got like salary cap restrictions, unless you're just gonna play So it's almost like another extension of playing Madden. I would go here. I'd go Keenan Allen here.
Okay, so I'm noticing you snatching up all the top wide receivers.
And then I would go with this group. I'm gonna go back to wide receivers. I'm gonna go for wide receivers off the top. So right now I'm either gonna go between McLaren or Deontay Johnson. I'm gonna take Deontay Johnson.
Okay, so what made you decide to pick Deontay Johnson over McLaurin?
Just think Deontay Johnson is the more consistent receiver. Don't get me wrong, I like Terry McLaurin. Both of their quarterback situations are like real funky right now. So at this point, we're gonna go to tight end, and I'm gonna take Dalton Schultz.
Okay. So why Dalton Schultz over, say, a Dallas Goedert or a Dawson Knox?
Well, Dawson Knox is trash. I don't care what nobody says. I know Buffalo Bills fans like him.
Bills Mafia.
Trash. Trash. One hit wonder, one fluke. He's a fluke. He's trash. Dalton Schultz is just self-explanatory, man. He's consistent. He gets yardage. He's going to get touchdowns. He's pretty much going to be the third option in the offense, period. But he'll be the second option in the passing game. So just a lot of targets. Here I'm going to go and I'm going to backdoor with T.J. Hockenson. And I like Ertz as well, but I just don't think he's going to be high usage.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on the whole Antonio Gibson situation? Seeing how he was picked, kind of early based on everything that's been going on. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Ron Rivera is going to get fired. He should be fired. We're going to go running back now.
Okay, let's see who's on the board.
Go ahead and now you know what? Let's look at quarterbacks. We're going to go Jalen Hurts.
Okay, so why Jalen Hurts over Russell Wilson?
Oh man, we haven't seen a lot of Russell Wilson. So I don't know how great or how good Russell Wilson is going to be. Jalen Hurts is, he was good for fantasy last year. I don't know about necessarily like in real life football, but as far as fantasy football goes, he's definitely money in the bank, and you can pretty much rely on him. And at this pick, I'm gonna go because I'm gonna go Dak Prescott. I didn't pick my GOAT, but I'm gonna go Dak Prescott at this pick right here.
Okay, you're leaving the GOAT on the board. So give me two do's in fantasy football, a redraft league. Two things that you should be doing for your draft in fantasy football.
Well, I mean, for a redraft, always go for the best available player if you can. Don't fall in love with rookies unless they're like a Drake London, say, because he's gonna play. But sometimes people get so caught up in going after rookies or whatever and things like that. I really just, try to maximize what you can do. We're gonna go running back now. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna address the running back position. And I'm gonna go Singletary.
Okay, all right.
And then we're gonna go Dameon Pierce.
Okay, now that's a really good pick. I love that pick. So give me two things that you should be doing for your fantasy football redraft league.
That you should be doing for a redraft league? I mean, I guess I would say play to your competitions what they're not doing. If the people that you're playing against, if they're taking a bunch of running backs, that's really my strategy. And it always happens. It happens in every fantasy league. Everybody overvalues the running back position, so people snatch up all of the running backs, and they basically neglect the receiver position. And those give you opportunities to make deals later on in the season. Whereas, let's say you're strapped at the running back position and you got Devontae Adams, you might be able to get two running backs out of a Devontae Adams. So we're going to go back to the running back position, and I'm going to take, I really like any of these guys. I'm going to take James Robinson. I should have probably moved with Michael Carter, but I'm going to take James Robinson. Let's go back to the wide receiver position. And we're going to take, let me see. Well, that's right. We're starting 3 wide receivers anyway. Let's go to tight end. Okay, we can go back to running back. I just wanted to see what we were looking at. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go with Michael Carter.
Michael Carter. So what are your thoughts on the whole Michael Carter Breece Hall situation for the Jets?
Not really anything to write home about. I don't think it's anything weird. They're gonna bring Breece Hall along, slowly. It happens. It's just, you want to make sure you're careful with the rookies. Actually, you know what? And that made me just think back to an actual thing to pay attention to with fantasy. I wasn't thinking, but like the more you do it, you think, because we just picking players. But I think the thing you definitely need to watch out for is bye weeks. That's probably the biggest thing in any fantasy, whether you're doing redraft or you're doing dynasty, always pay attention to your buys because you mess around and you have a bunch. You won't have you have a bunch of guys out on weeks that you need them. So let's go back to wide receiver. Just with
That
starting
is
three,
very true.
with starting 3 wide receivers, you can never have enough. So I'm gonna go Rondale Moore. He's a number 2 for now because of the situation with DeAndre Hopkins. So, and then we're gonna backdoor with Jacoby Myers. He's a number 1. He's a terrible number 1, but he's a number 1. So I guess.
I hear you. I hear you. So, what's the safest positional pick in round 1 of a fantasy football draft?
Wide receiver.
Okay. Okay. And give me one sleeper at the quarterback position for fantasy football this year.
A sleeper at the quarterback position. A sleeper. I don't know. I don't really think there are any sleepers at the quarterback position, unless maybe Desmond Ridder would be a sleeper because there's a high probability that he'll be able to upend Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota is trash, so I expect to see Desmond Ridder at some point in time this season. So
he's looked good so far in preseason. He's been
I definitely think he'll be somebody
impressive. All right, give me a sleeper at the running back, wide receiver, and tight end position.
Sleeper at the running back position, of course, is Dameon Pierce. I don't think a lot of people was really checking for him. I wasn't checking for him. Let's go to running backs. I definitely think he's going to be someone to watch out for. Going to give me Jamal Williams. Definitely got to always have Jamal Williams because DeAndre Swift is guaranteed to miss some time. Let's go to the tight end position for the next pick. Sleeper, I would go Dameon Pierce at the running back position. At the wide receiver position, I'm torn between a couple of guys, man. I want to say I like Jahan Dotson, and I think he has a real good chance to be a productive receiver, especially as a number 2 across from McLaren. We're gonna go Noah Fant here.
Okay.
And sleeper at the tight end position, I want to say a good tight end sleeper. I think Albert O is a good tight end sleeper. A lot of people, I had him in like every league because nobody was really jacking him, and I traded him and got assets for him in every league. I don't even have him anymore, so definitely think he's a big sleeper at tight end. At least until Dulcich gets up to speed.
Yeah. Give me 2 rookies you think will have great value this year in a redraft league.
Drake London, first and foremost. Drake London and Chris Olave immediately. I expect the 2 of them to be immediate impact players.
Okay. And what is one of the worst trades you've ever made, if any, in fantasy football?
One of the worst trades I ever made? Shit. You know what? I actually do have one. I traded Justin Jefferson his rookie season, and this is before he even started playing, just because just to put context into that, I had went kind of rookie with my wide receiver core that year. I had Jefferson, I had Judy, I can't remember who else. I had a bunch of rookie wide receivers, and the only experienced wide receiver I had at the time, I can't remember who it was. But anyway, and my defense was stellar. My defense was so deep that I was like, okay, cool, I can make that. So I traded Justin Jefferson and TJ Watt, and I got back Chris Godwin, and I want to say it was a 2nd-round pick. Now, of course, Godwin ended up being very productive, but Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. So, and TJ Watt had a monster year.
That is a fact. So this team is looking pretty good. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this team you just put together?
I rated about an 8. I think I could have. I think I could have. I could have stopped going. I could have went running back early and got more value at the wide receiver position. But I just think that with from wide receiver to tight end, come on, man. These are all number one guys. These are all high usage guys. These are guys who are all gonna get the ball. That team is gonna be able to compete every week. Plus, you got Jalen Hurts, who's a dual threat quarterback, which makes it even like this team is gonna be hard to beat. The only thing that makes it weak is the running back position, but my Singletary is going to be solid if he can keep the job. I don't know. James Cook might come in and snatch that, but you never know with Buffalo.
Yeah, you just simply never know at the running back position with them.
Right. Singletary is going to be solid, and I expect Pierce to be solid. You can win a fantasy league having solid running back play and stellar wide receiver and tight end play. That's the biggest thing that people forget. People get caught up in having these big name running backs. And I've never seen anybody win a league where they had all the elite running backs. It's always anybody who's got stellar wide receiver play, stellar tight. Those are my best teams. Actually, I take that back. I did win a league where I had Nick Chubb and Dalvin Cook, but that's because I backdoored them I backdoored those two guys in the same, like in the first round and the second round. Those were my pick. It was Dalvin Cook and Nick Chubb, but that's before anybody was on Nick Chubb. And that was before Dalvin Cook started going high. So back then,
I think Nick Chubb is undervalued.
Nick Chubb is very undervalued, and he still doesn't go. Nick Chubb still doesn't go high, and he's been consistently in the top 10 of running backs in fantasy, and he still don't go high. So he's always Nick Chubb that's a sleeper. Nick Chubb is a sleeper. He shouldn't even be a sleeper.
I'm looking forward to seeing Nick Chubb and Watson once Watson returns. I think Watson, being the elite quarterback that he is going to be a benefit to Nick Chubb, because we already know he was doing real good with Baker Mayfield, and we already know Baker Mayfield is just horrible. I'm sorry, he is it. My opinion. Huh? So I got a bonus question for you. Mm-hmm. Who's gonna have the better season this year? CMC or Barkley?
I'm gonna say Barkley by default.
Okay. I guess we gotta hope that both of these guys make it through a full season healthy.
I think Saquon. I don't think Saquon Barkley was hurt last year. I just think he's. I think the injuries kind of caught up to him. He's still going through the after effects of the injuries. Mm-hmm. McCaffrey just hasn't. He's just not making it. Period. So, like, I think they said he's missed somewhere in the neighborhood of like 33 games since signing his contract, which
that's a lot.
Stupid. So I would say by default, I believe Saquon Barkley ends up having the better season because I think he's gonna play. I just don't think he'll be as effective or productive as he was his rookie season. I don't think he'll ever touch what he was as a rookie.
That's true. So with Saquon, where do you think people should be targeting him in a draft? Which round would be the best round?
People gonna take him early. I wouldn't suggest anybody take Saquon Barkley. So I wouldn't give you. I would say you should don't take Saquon Barkley. It's just like
don't do it.
Saquon Barkley normally goes in the first, and so does McCaffrey. But I wouldn't take either. I wouldn't touch either one of them in the first or second round of a draft because you just never know. And I'd rather take somebody who I know is gonna touch the field, and we haven't had injury issues. That's a history.
Yeah, I'm thinking Saquon. If Saquon is available in the third round, especially late, I may take a chance on him. But he hasn't never been available in these third rounds because people still snatching him up early. So
just hoping to get that thing back with what he used to be. I don't think he'll ever be the same player. He'll be productive, and I think the Giants are going to try to protect him a lot this season, which is why they went and they got a Wan'Dale Robinson who can be serviceable as a wide receiver, as well as they had. I heard they had him carrying, doing, kind of playing out the backfield as well. Mm-hmm. So, and that's stupid. Like that's why I said when when you on the spot, you don't think about things. But Wan'Dale Robinson is definitely. I've been telling folks about Wan'Dale Robinson since before the draft, and of course the waiver wire queen. I don't like his name, so I don't like him. But as you can see, he's already cemented in the starting lineup.
Yeah,
We already got him in the starting lineup. He's a playmaker.
I was watching the last preseason game with the Giants, and they just had him in some horrible situations, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna get hurt, because seeing him, he was so small, it's so short, but I just didn't like the plays that they were calling for him. And I'm like, it's preseason. Let's not do that. Okay. I don't need him getting hurt before he even touched the field week one. Because you can see we had already injury issues so far with the wide receivers already this preseason.
Right. But not Wan'Dale though. Well, it's not already. This is a recurring theme with the Giants. They always have injury issues with the receiver position. So yeah, of course you hope for the best with Wan'Dale Robinson, and hopefully he stayed. They can, hopefully he's healthy, because he'll probably end up being the best receiver that they have. Just at least this season, he'll probably be the best. So.
Yeah, because I was high on Kadarius Toney this year, but he's been dealing with so many different issues so far, injury wise.
And
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, whoo, okay. Can we get a update that says he's ready to go? He's healthy. He doesn't have any nagging issues. So
he's sliding. As you can see, he's already sliding down the depth chart. So, and now they've activated Sterling Shepard. So like I said, I can't wait to see I hope Wan'Dale Robinson performs, because I can't wait to flip him in fantasy for all the people who was watching me draft him, because I think I got him in 3 leagues. Everybody was watching me draft him, and then I've tried to trade him, and I don't like mine. And guess what? He's the starter now. So
we'll see. I hope they just set him up for success and have him in the right position, because I just didn't like the plays, and then especially in preseason. So give me one wild prediction for this fantasy football season.
One wild prediction for this fantasy football season. Wild prediction. I would say wild prediction for fantasy. I say, wild prediction. I say Jonathan Taylor ends up being the #1 overall fantasy player this season. I think last year it was Josh Allen. I think it's going to be Jonathan Taylor this season.
Okay. And then lastly, on a scale of 1 to 10, how addicted are you to fantasy football?
I don't know. I think I'm probably at like a 5, maybe a 6.
Okay.
I'm in 6 leagues, so but I do check my stuff daily. I don't have a bunch of leagues. I think I'm like some of the guys I'm in leagues with, they're in like 10 leagues, and I'm like, I capped at 5. I'm cool with 5. I just took on 1 just in case. Let's took on a 6th one just in case one of the 5 actually folds, because it looks like it's getting ready to fold. The co-commissioner might want to talk to the commissioner about getting those 2 spots filled.
Well, hopefully there's no folding in any leagues. That can never be fun. Yeah, I talk to people all the time, and when they're in, some of them in 15 leagues, I'm like, oh, that's even a lot for me. And yeah, I'm trying to cut back, and I think I was at a good spot prior to everyone trying to create all these damn redraft leagues. Now everybody's creating redraft leagues and wanting me to join, so I've joined a few of those, which kind of pushed me up. But I really love the dynasty. I'm trying to focus more on the dynasty and less on the redraft.
Yeah, I'm out the redraft business.
All right. Any final thoughts for everyone going into the 2022 fantasy football season?
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Just because you may have something go bad in week 1, don't overreact and start gutting your roster.
Right. Well, I want to thank Abutta for stopping by and dropping his fantasy football knowledge. Y'all leave some comments and rate Abutta's team, and let him know your thoughts on his draft strategy for this redraft. Y'all make sure you hit the subscribe button. We have a lot of great content which is going to help you throughout the fantasy football season. I'll see you guys on Sunday. We have another great mock draft. We're going to be joined by another expert in fantasy football, and they're going to drop a lot of knowledge based on a Superflex redraft league. So I'll see you guys on Sunday. Have a good weekend, y'all.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast.